What's up guys, Genius Pie Trap, and as promised, Oculus Rift Development Kit 2. This is the setup, the hookup, everything you need to know to get this thing running. We're going to see what's inside the box, we're going to go through all the settings, we're going to download the software, and get this thing running. I already did a video on the Oculus Rift Development Kit 1, so you might want to check that out if you have the 1, but this is for the Oculus Rift Development Kit 2. First thing we're going to want to do before we hook anything up is download some software. So we'll be back getting to the hardware. Let's download some software. Alright, before we hook anything up, we are going to install the software. We're going to go to developer.oculusvr.com. I'll put a link in the description. Once we're here, you're going to have to sign up for an account if you don't already have one. Standard, email, password, that kind of thing. Not a big deal. And once we got that all set, we want to go to downloads. Once we're in downloads, we're looking for two things mainly. Depending on... Obviously, here's the Mac stuff. We're doing this in Windows. First thing we want to grab is the Oculus SDK for Windows. Let's download that. And I'm using Google Chrome right now, so it'll be shown down here in the bottom. If you have Firefox, there'll be a little download arrow over here. Alright, once that's downloaded, we'll click on it here. And we'll go to our Downloads folder. And we want to, let's cut that out of here and make a new folder, which I think I already have done. And under games, but this can be anywhere. And I just made a folder called Oculus Rift. And I'll paste that into there. And I'm going to right click the file, extract all. And just click extract. And I can delete that zippered folder. Just like that. Now, back to the downloads section. Click on this again. And we want the Oculus Runtime for Windows. So we'll download that. And once that's downloaded, we can go to our download folders and click on it, or just in the bottom here if you're using Google Chrome. And we want to click yes. And click next. And you accept the agreement. And it's going to ask where you want to put it. I'm going to put it in the same folder I did the SDK. Just games, Oculus Rift, click OK, and next, and finish. And to complete this installation, we're going to restart our computer, so we're going to do that. And as our computer is restarting, we're going to go back to hooking up the Oculus Rift. Alright, we're back, and I already emptied out the contents of the box. As you can see, this cardboard box, which, just a quick note, is not as cool as the DK1. Had a nice plastic case. This is just a cardboard box. A little disappointing, but it's worth it. And we got a bunch of stuff here. Let's kind of quick go through here. We got the instruction booklet. Kind of goes through some things which you're not going to need because you have this video. And you have this new, which is new to the DK2, this positional tracker. The Oculus Rift Development Kit 2 itself. We have one extra piece size of lenses. One set is already in the Oculus Rift. The DK1 had 3 sets total. The DK2 only has 2 sets. A DVI to HDMI converter if you so need it. This is optional. A power adapter if you need it. This is we'll get into this a little bit later. This is an optional thing as well if you need an accessory USB on your thing. And then we have various plugs to work with that, so they can send it to whatever country. It's good for the US, UK, Australia, Europe. You should be covered. And then we got some cables right here that we'll go through. So, do you need to buy anything to make this thing work? Probably, most likely not. Everything you need is included in the box. There's an actual, running right off the Oculus Rift is a built-in USB and HDMI, so that's all included into the Oculus Rift. Now, let's just quick go over the Oculus Rift here, DK2. Now, if you notice here, right on top here, we have a power button. And a quick note before we get into anything, if this is, you press this and it's orange, it means no video signal. If you press it and it's blue, it means it's video signal, you're ready to go. And nothing means it's off, obviously. Here we have a little door here we can open up. We just slide up on our thumb, and that's where USB and HDMI fit in. If you're having problems, maybe that's a good thing to unplug or undo the cover and make sure you have a secure fitting on both of those. This on top here is what I was telling you about before. We're not going to go through this on the video very much. I'm just going to show you guys. Right here, if you need that USB slot, that's the only thing you need to worry about that AC adapter for. Is for using that USB slot. Alright, back of the Rift here. Now, we have, as noted before, we have two different eyepieces, sets of eyepieces. There's the longer ones, which are in there, and then there's also these, which I didn't even take out of the package yet, these more shallow ones. Now, the more shallow ones is if you are very nearsighted. You want to put those in. If you have good vision, or just a little bit nearsighted, you want the longer ones in there. But if you need to replace them, you simply just rotate these out of here. And you can kind of see, one, you have to rotate counterclockwise, like so, and it pops right out. And you'd put the new one in. There's not a left and a right, they are both the same. And the other one you would rotate clockwise and put the new eyepiece in. Also, on the side, much like the DK1, there is an adjustment on both sides right here. Like so, and this, what this does is moves the Oculus Rift in and out. Kind of to adjust for glasses, sides of the head, and you want to, adjust that per person, I guess. Simply to adjust that, you are going to need a, let me see here, I got a US penny, and it's simply, slide it into there and turn it back and forth, and it'll move in and out. If you do not have a United States penny, just PayPal me $19.99 and I will ship you a United States penny. Just kidding. Any coin will work. Don't send me money. Alright, so we got that. That's pretty much all the adjustments. And then of course we got the straps on top here. And I'm not going to go through how to work straps. Hopefully you guys can figure that out on your own. Alright, let's get this thing hooked up to our PC. Off the Oculus Rift we have two cords, the USB and the HDMI. We're going to want to go ahead and plug those right into the back of our computer. Now, if you don't have a free HDMI, that's when you want to use your DVI to HDMI. Couple questions I had in the last video is, what if you don't have either one of those? I would suggest saving your money and not buying the Oculus Rift and maybe updating your PC first. But I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work if you had another adapter. But I can't say that for certain, but maybe you want to think about hooking those up. Now, another note on this. When you hook up your HDMI or HDMI to DVI, make positive, this was a very common problem in the last video, make sure that it is hooked up to, if you're using a graphics card, it's hooked up to your graphics card and not your onboard video. What that means is, some computers have onboard video, which means it goes right to the motherboard, and then a graphics card was added onto it. Okay? So if it's plugged into the onboard video, but you're using the graphics card, it's just simply not going to work. You want to make sure it's plugged into directly to the graphics card. And we're going to plug the USB in. Alright, so I'm going to plug the HDMI. Now real quick, I know this is kind of hard to see here, but as you can see I have an HDMI slot right here, and an HDMI slot right there as well. This DVI is already going to my main monitor. Okay, this HDMI slot is where I want to plug it in. This one up here is for my onboard video. It just will not work because my graphics are running off of my graphics card. So again, make sure it's on your graphics card. And there you can see, I know you guys couldn't see the USB slot, but Lord help you if you can't plug something into a USB slot. Alright, so we got that in. And now as you can see already, the Oculus Rift button, the light went on already. So it's all powered by, already by the computer, which is very nice. The DK2 had to be powered on by an AC adapter. So as of right now, again, as mentioned, it's orange. It means there's no video. If I hit it again, it turns off. Orange again means no video. Alright, what's next? Let's hook up the camera. Now for this, we're going to want two cords here. We are looking for the one like so. It's a right angled and right into the side there. And the other one we're looking for is a cord that has a USB, a gold-plated USB on one end, and a right angled mini USB on the other end. And we're going to plug in the right angled mini USB right next to the right angled there, just like so. So now on the other end we have these two sides, USB and this little jack here, and we are going to follow the USB. We want to look for this one right here and plug it into this box that we just plugged into the back of the computer, and we want to look for the end. There it is, and plug it into that hole. There, I plugged it in. You want to make sure that's plugged into the one called sync out. Now on the other side, you'll notice that's where that DC inverter is. You do not have to have that plugged in unless you use that external USB on the Oculus Rift. So I have no reason to use that right now, so I'm not going to plug it in. It'll work fine without it. So now we have the other USB, gold-plated USB, and we want to plug that right into the computer. I'm just going to go on top here like so. Now kind of have a mess here on the desk, but we're going to take this camera here, and wherever you're sitting or using the Oculus Rift, you want that so it's positioned in front of the Oculus Rift. You want that so it's positioned in front of the Oculus Rift. So on the back here, you could actually mount this right to a tripod, or this flips open like this. Man, I really need a cameraman. Alright, this flips open like this, and you can adjust this to rest on top of your monitor like I'm going to do right here. Like so. Now, this just kind of rests on top there. It doesn't like clamp down or anything, but it does pretty good. I'm putting it on top of my little 3D mount here. And you kind of want to angle this so it is pointed to the top of the Oculus Rift where you'd normally be sitting. Like so, and it just sits on there. Again, it stays on there pretty good. It's not like it clamps on or snaps on or anything. It just rests right on top of there. Alright, and that is it. Now, we're going to hit the power button. And as you can see, it's orange because it's no display, and that's because we have not done anything with the software. And we'll do that now. So that's pretty much it for the hardware. Alright, we're back in front of the computer. We just hooked up the Oculus Rift. We're ready to tear into that software. We want to go to the files we just downloaded. Again, I put mine in a folder called Oculus Rift. And the first thing we want to look for is a folder called Tools. We'll click on that, and then we want to go to Oculus Config Util, UTIL, which is short for utility. And this brings it up like so. Now, if this picture is grayed out, if this is kind of all grayed out, or there's no picture here at all, that means you do not have something put together right. Go through the video again, reconnect it. Something is messed up. All right, so we're gonna go here to user, and we want to click on the plus and put a username. We'll put GPT for Genius Pie Trap, of course. Click OK. And you're gonna enter your player height. Mine is 5'10". Enter your gender. I'm not really sure what that does. It's kind of interesting, I guess. This kind of shows how your eye cups are adjusted. So from here, what we want to do is go to Tools, Advanced, Firmware Update. This is very important. We didn't have to do this with the DK1. This is very important to do on the DK2 before we do anything else. Firmware Update. And now this will probably bring us to this Oculus Rift folder. And if you can't find it, what you want to go is here, Tools, Firmware, DK2, DK2 Firmware. Again, in the Oculus Rift folder, Tools, Firmware, DK2, DK2 Firmware. And we're going to select that and click Open. And it's asking me if I want to reinstall because I installed this once already, but I'm clicking yes. And once it's all completed, we want to click OK, and this is going to shut down. And we're going to go back to that Oculus Rift folder and back to Tools, Oculus Config Utility again, open it back up. Now, if you look at your Oculus Rift, you try to turn the thing on, and it's still got the orange light. If we go to Tools, Rift Display Mode, here's a couple options here. We have Direct HMD Access from Apps, Extend Desktop to the HMD. If we click Extend Desktop to the HMD and click Apply, that light should turn to orange, okay? Which, I know you guys can't see it now, but it does. Basically, the two differences between these modes is your Oculus Rift will be off on this one right here. It'll stay off until a game tells it to go on. It works pretty good. I leave it on, and it doesn't turn on until it detects a game is asking for it. Some games do require that this is on. Like I just played Live for Speed, and this option has to be on. But for the most part, we're going to stay with this Direct HMD Access from Apps. I have had pretty good luck using that. So we're in that. Now, next thing we want to do is put the Oculus Rift on. To make sure it's on, you should see the orange light, meaning there's no display, and you should click Show Demo Scene. And the Oculus Rift should turn blue. That orange light should now turn blue. You can put the thing on top of your head here, like so, and we'll click Start. And here we have a nice desk. Looks pretty neat. A house of cards. And we have a couple options here. Whether we're sitting or standing, we're sitting. The camera bounds. Now, if we turn this on, I know it's hard to see, but this basically shows where the camera is shooting. And if you need to adjust it to there, you want it to basically shoot at the top of the Oculus Rift. It looks pretty good. I might have to adjust it down. And if you want to recenter, like so. So you want to basically point this straight towards the camera, click recenter, and that will recenter the Oculus Rift. And there, we can exit out of there. And we're back here. That's it. The Rift should be up and running. If I go to included in this software here, if I go back to my Oculus Rift folder and I go to the SDK, OVR SDK, Oculus SDK, and there's the Oculus World Demo, and we can double click on that and try it out. And here we are in the Tuscany World Demo that's included in the SDK. If This is an old demo actually. They're on the site that we did those downloads. You can do an updated one that is much better than this. Now that I see it, it has butterflies and leaves falling, and it's just more updated. It looks even better than what this is. But you guys get the idea. It all works. Everything. I can move my head. I can look up. I can look down. I can look left. I can look right, and you know everything is here. It works great. Some real quick impressions on the DK2 or the DK1, which I'm going to get to in another video. I'm going to really compare the two. DK2 is definitely worth it. It's much better. I really like it a lot. I'm glad to see where they're going with it. The Oculus Rift. It looks better. It has less of a screen door effect. There's no motion sickness to this, which is very good. I kind of developed a rock hard stomach playing the DK1, but even after not playing it for a while, I'd start playing even this. I'd start playing it for a while, and I would just get motion sick. I have no motion sickness with the new one at all. It's so one-to-one movement that it doesn't bother me at all. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it on your screen, but I'm getting a little juddering. That is because I'm recording this and I got a bunch of software running. Normally, playing this before, I have no judders. It works great. So, you guys got any questions? Put them in the comments below. Hope you guys get it up and running. It's awesome. It's great. VR, the future. I like it. Talk to you guys later. Genius Pie Trap, over and out. Later. Bye.
Victory.
The outcome was never really in doubt.
Eat my dust!
Let's have a go at it!
Godspeed, you magnificent bastard! Giddy up!
It is good time to be giant man!
Guts and glory!